Hello everyone, this is Michael Stephen Vargas from WeGoChess.com. So, there is this huge belief that chess players are sore losers, right? Most of them, most of us, if we actually been beaten in the game, throws into tantrums, into emotional outbursts, and similar. There's a lot of reputation online for chess players being just losers about basically just a game. So I have been wondering about this. Is there a reason, right? Why are chess players are much more likely to be sore losers? Because it's just a game. There are a lot of sports out there that that's not what do you call this is not isn't as emotionally attaching, right? As chess, and I think there might be something in the nature of chess that makes people likely to be so emotionally invested that they just go into like guerrilla attacks, guerrilla mode whenever they experience a loss. And that's the video for today. Why are chess players more likely to be sore losers? First reason is chess being an individual game. So, for example, there are a lot of team competitions out there where if you actually lose, you could just pass on the accountability, right? You can just say that it's because of this player or this other player, but in chess, that doesn't apply. Every single move you do is made by every single move you do is made by you only. There's no outside factor out there that to directly influence your decision. So with this added accountability means that whenever someone experiences a loss, people just couldn't blame anyone besides themselves, and this is much more likely for people. Makes it more likely for people to actually take the game much more seriously and become much more emotionally invested. Second reason is chess is just so much outcome oriented, right? So nobody really cares about the processes of the match. Like whenever, for example, in a tournament, nobody cares what happens like in round 5. What they care about is what it looks like on the stat sheet, on the rankings. That's what most people are look for. People just don't appreciate good games, unlike with other competitions. And so this makes it a thing that players will have the mindset that they also should be outcome oriented, because that the result is what is appreciated. And so with a loss it feels much more personal, right? Because it matters so much than any other competitions out there. Third reason is that losses last for a long time in chess. The reason for this is because chess lasts also for a long time. So for example, if you lost, you feel all this rage within you, or even just sadness within you. You can't just get back that loss immediately, right? To kind of redeem yourself, because chess naturally takes a long time to actually play out. And if it's a tournament, then especially classical tournament, then that pain of loss and anger will stay much longer. And so this nature of not being able to finish in a short amount of time contributes to the overall rage of people who lost in chess. Fourth reason is the nature of chess competitions. So in tournaments, why do people participate in tournaments, right? For experience, yes, but most likely for the prize money. So the only people who actually earn the prize money are those who get at the top, at the rank place, who get the most results. And so in tournaments specifically, there's so much competition in every game. It is so stressful. People are going to notice every individual result, and so they may appear to be much more of a loser just because they care about the results more, because that's what matters to get the prize money if you actually play well. Next reasons why chess players are much more likely to appear as sore losers is because of the existence of ratings. So in some sports, there's no such thing as a number, right? To indicate how strong a player is. That exists in chess, and so people are proud of their rating. They want high high rating, they want to grind that rating, and so every individual games matter. If especially if it is a game where they will lose a lot of hard-earned ratings, you can bet that they're going to be much more emotionally attached to the results because they want to keep that high rating. And so the system of ratings, I think, also do have a play, also play the role in this. Then another reason that I think contribute to this is just the fact that it is stressful to, it is exhausting to play a game of chess, especially if it lasts for hours. And so with all the things that I have mentioned earlier, right, yes, that those applies. However, there's something that amplifies it more, which is exhaustion, right? After every game where you see the result, which is at the end of the game, and if you actually lose, along along with your mental exhaustion that you have built up over the span of the game, it's like adding a fuel to the fire, and it wouldn't end well. And so people are just more likely to appear sore losers because maybe they're just exhausted, and it's reasonable. It's so stressful and exhaustive to play a full game of chess. Next reason is high standards. So most, even not elite chess players, just decent chess players, even decent, have high standards. They just don't want to lose a lot of games, and this one also applies to other games out there, but also applies to chess. It's just we don't want to lose any game at all because it's kind of a reflection of our ability to do this. It kind of makes someone feel more proud of themselves, right? So if they lose and they show an emotional outburst, it's just because they have higher standard for themselves and they actually do care about the game. And I think that's much more valid reason, except when it's not, when it's too much emotional outburst. But it is definitely maybe one of the reason because just people just have higher standards. Next factor to consider in this is the demography, right? Who actually plays chess? And if you are present in competitions, then you know the answer to this, which is younger players. Younger players are much more likely to play chess, and so, especially competitive chess, than older ones, just because they are much more likely to be good, studied chess early. And so when someone is young, they are much more likely to throw tantrums and don't have that much emotional control, right, over their actions. And so when they actually lose, adding to the things that I have mentioned before, they are much more likely to show or express their emotion without giving a thought to decency. And so that demography is also definitely a factor to this. Next reason why chess players appear to be sore losers is just because of the existence of professional games. And so if you actually watch a professional in any other competition, not just chess, you will notice that they are much more likely to be sore losers. Why? Because they take the game seriously, and so they are much more likely attached to the outcome. And the interesting thing about this is because professional chess players are the face of chess, and so it's not like every chess player is a sore loser, right? But it's just that most professionals are chess losers, which a lot of people actually observe, and so they make these conclusions that everybody is just like this. Although I do think that there are reasons why chess players are much more likely to be like these sore losers, but sometimes it's just because some people just take this seriously, right? Next, lastly, this idea that only chess players actually appear to be sore losers is obviously false, right? Sore losers appear in every competition out there because, especially to people who care about the result. Maybe, yes, there are certain things that makes chess player much more likely to be sore losers, but that can also apply to other competitions out there, right? Chess is not the only the only case here. So it's actually much more common than you think. It's just that I think that it's just very interesting that chess has some qualities that make this the case more than any other competition, but it might actually be more common. We're just maybe just exaggerating all of this, that chess players are much more likely to be sore losers. So that is all. That is the topic for the video. If you have any thoughts, you can just comment below, and that's all that I really can say about this topic. So if you like this video, feel free to give it a like, And that is all. Sleep well and play chess.